that ever curved me, don't write back. I never have to fucking worry about my stacks. I'm thinking I'll retire early, cause I like rap. The dopest shit I ever heard, I like that. To every bitch that ever curved me, don't write back. I'll never have to fucking
How's it going, JMars?
Well, good, man. Thank you for having me, bro.
Good, yeah. Just real quick for people that don't know who you are, if you could just give a little rundown of what you do and just everything that's going on.
Absolutely. My name is JMars. I am a rapper, songwriter, lyricist, whatever you want to call me. I have been doing music professionally for about 3+ years now. I'm based out in Houston, but I'm from the Bay. I'm from California. I was raised there. What's called huge roots there, family there, and stuff like that. So heavily influenced by the culture out there. But I've been able to move around some, so now I'm a little bit more well balanced. It used to just all be boom bap hip hop and Bay Area hip hop, and now it's a little bit more of that southern stuff too. Now I've been in Texas for a while, but yeah, man, that's what I'm into.
Yeah, so you're from California, to the Bay Area. And I was listening to Planetary Destruction, and your line you dropped Camp Pendleton in that. Like, did you go there, like, growing up as a kid at all?
shout out to my granddad, yeah, he made the family militant. That's another way of saying we strapped like Camp Pendleton.
No, I didn't actually. My parents, however, like, they met in the military too, so they're based out of Fort Ord, before it closed down in Monterey. So like I'm very familiar with military. My grandfather served. Unfortunately he passed when my dad was 16, so I never got to meet him. But he served in 3 wars. My parents, like I said, met in the military and stuff like that, and we moved around a lot as a result.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely something that is heavily influencing of my family is the military.
Definitely, yeah. Because I'm not too far myself from Camp Pendleton, and I grew up going there when I was like in the Boy Scouts. I'd go camping there and stuff, and it was kind of scary because they would always say it's haunted, and like they had like the adobe brick house there, and it said there'd be ghosts going through there and stuff. So as a kid, I was terrified. But yeah, that's super dope. So yeah, just going like off the record you have behind you. You said that your parents worked with Logic on the first 3 albums.
Yes, they did. So when I was about, I want to say I was 17, 18, they had recently went out to LA to work and stuff like that. And on the way back from them working in LA, they got a call to, go work with a new up and coming artist. And it was Bob, right when he was doing the Welcome to Forever tour and stuff like that, and getting the final cut done for Under Pressure. And they went in, and I think they're on a total of like 7 songs. Vocal work and writing work on about 7 of the songs on the first project. But yeah, incredible. And it just snowballed from there. But yeah, they got a long track record with him and stuff like that, and their music that they made with him was probably the most influential music, to me. So it's definitely a cool thing to be privy to.
Like over the years, then you built, I'm guessing, a relationship with them because you're obviously like featuring on Planetary Destruction, on Vinyl Days, and then JRB that's also on Bobby Boy.
He didn't even know I was their son when he first found out about me. Like, we were very, very purposeful in not giving up all the information because we didn't want his viewpoint to be skewed by anything, and we wanted him to just be fans of the music whenever we went to him with something. And It was very eye opening on both sides once he finally heard that I was their son and stuff like that, and they kind of been grooming me to get where I need to go creatively. But we started this process probably in about 2017. That was like the first time that we were seriously considering me doing music.
Okay. So how old were you in 2017 then?
2017, I was 21, I believe.
And like, what were you doing that wasn't music at that time?
I was working at Apple at the time. So,
oh wow.
Yeah, I was working for Apple. I had just moved I was playing basketball in the Bay Area at a JUCO out there, because basketball used to be my whole life and shit like that. and then ended up not panning out. So I ended up moving back home with my parents and stuff like that. And during from the time Under Pressure dropped all the way until that point, I had been writing, but I
Mm-hmm.
really told them, like, because they took music very seriously, so I never really wanted to like introduce that to them until I was serious about it, if I ever did get serious about it. And once that happened, once I got out there, it kind of just snowballed and built from there. And I started taking it more seriously to where I had to make up my mind whether or not I was going to leave Apple or continue continue pursuing music, or stay with Apple and go full time and stuff like that. But I ended up picking up in an instant and leaving Florida. I was out in Florida working for Apple and stuff like that, and just moved to Houston and been kind of full tilt on the music stuff for the past 3 years.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because like that could be like a life changing decision, really. So some people just take that full time job that pays really well too, just to be comfortable and not pursue whatever passion they're trying to chase.
I'd have been 21 making a good amount of money too, so it was hard to not do that. But just the love for it, it was something that spawned naturally. Like my parents, they've done music my whole life, so I've had plenty of opportunity to fall into it. But when I heard Under Pressure and when I heard Tits and a bunch of other music too, but specifically those made me want to pick up the pen for myself, and it just snowballed just steadily. I just kept pushing to get better just to see if I could, and it was something that grew organically.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's around the same time too. Well, not 2017, but when Under Pressure came out, that was the first Logic project I heard. So that's like what really got me into it, into him, and also just a lot of other hip hop too. And then when Incredible True Story came out, that was just like mind blowing. It still is for me. Like that's one of my favorite albums of all time. Like I'm doing a second podcast of this in my studio, and I'm gonna hang I have like the CD of like the album. I always try to incorporate like some type of inspiration or something in the background that like I'm really into, like the Beatles one. Last podcast I did with Stimulator Jones, on Stones Throw Records. I got the Jay Dilla book and some other just inspirations that I don't know. I feel like you have to show your inspirations just to like motivate you and just grab ideas and other things from them for sure.
Exactly, man. Exactly. That's
dope.
For sure. What's one of your favorite Beatles, man? Or your favorite Beatles song?
Favorite Beatles song is Rain.
I love that one. I love Eleanor Rigby though. Like that one for me is just like I've all the iterations that have been done with it. I love Eleanor Rigby. My sister, them really young, so I've always had a good steady balance of like all other forms of music too. So that was definitely one of my first influences in that realm. Yeah,
I don't personally make any music. I'll try to make some beats sometimes, but I think music is definitely my favorite thing there is in the whole entire world. Like I definitely escape in music all the time, just I listen to everything. So, but if I had to choose a genre, it'd probably be hip hop. It's like hip hop and the Beatles; they're both like the same thing. Like it's just they do something for me. I don't know how, but Logic is literally like my favorite artist besides the Beatles. Like, how has it been working with him?
Man, it's for surely been a dream come true, man. I started off like 100% as just a fan. Like before I ever thought to pick up the pen, like I was just a fan. Like I remember being in LA riding around with my homies just bumping Logic, like just doing dumb shit, just bumping Logic. Like him and Busy Wright at the time, like those were the guys. Like we lived the music to the music. It was our sound. It was our score, to our lives. To have that inspire me to the point to where I've been able to build over the course of the past, 8 years to be able to be here now. It's like, it's wild, man. It's more than I could ever hope for. But, actually getting to go work with him the first time happened was with Kickstyle. Like what's called, he flew me out and to come record on the album, and it was just like getting to see his process and how he works. It's like he works on a completely different level than a lot of people, and that's the reason behind those plaques and that success that he's had, because he pours everything. Like he left nothing left in the tank. And it's inspiring. Like you said, the reason why you put, you know, the Beatles behind you and you put all your inspiration behind you, it's like they really lived it. They've done it. They put the work into making sure that it happened. And it's kind of just that constant reminder, like, man, there's always another step up. And they all started where we did. They all started off the stands of music, you know? So it's like, that's something that was honestly really eye-opening and, you know, kind of profound and full circle, given the fact that he was the person that inspired me to pick up the pen in the first place. And now I'm to a point in my creative process where he enjoys my art and what I have to give back to the culture. And, you know, it all kind of spiraled off of his ability to put music out and share his art with the world. So
that's definitely inspiring. And you had the section, you and also your dad was in it too, for the Vinyl Days documentary. I thought that was cool to have, like, you had a little section showing you recording and everything like that.
And that was otherworldly, man. That was the experience of a lifetime. Like, honestly, I had more fun that time frame probably I've ever had making music before. Just really? being there in the room. And it's like, it wasn't even just because it was him. It was more so about the energy that was flowing in that house, in the place that we were at. It was just massively creative. I got to feed off of that energy for a short while, and it was super dope. Like, I loved it.
So what happened? You used to go by Jumpman, and then now you're JMars. Like, what happened? The transition, and also like the story behind maybe both names.
So Jumpman, at the very beginning of this journey back in 2017, man, Jumpman was kind of given to me. It was a name given to me because I couldn't come up with one.
Okay.
I'm very, people will understand this about me if they don't know it now, is that I'm very indecisive, like just like ridiculously indecisive. And when it came to my name, like I felt like that was just like the most important thing in the world. And I just didn't know what I wanted to be called. And, what's called one day a DJ had came over to work with my parents, and they heard like one of my earliest tracks that I did because they were coming to do cuts on it, and they came up with the idea to call me Jumpman, and we kind of just rolled with it, you know, because it made sense. Jumpman, Jordan, all that stuff. But unfortunately, it's impossible to build a brand off of Jumpman. It's like true. Really impossible. So that was a big part of it. One, I had never fully felt like completely attached to the name, but also to thinking and getting out of the terms of just thinking music and thinking music business. It made me think about how I can best put something out there that's going to reflect me. And there was nothing better than, you know, my actual name, you know, which is JMars, Jordan Marchand. Like, that's my verbatim name. So it felt like it embodied me. You know, when I was a kid too, I used to like really hate my middle name. Like, I did not like it because, you know, kids at elementary school used to call me Martian and shit like that. And I had a really big head too. So like the same size my head is now was like the same size that it was back then, but my body grew now. Like, that's So it fit. Like, I was genuinely looking like a little Martian. But now it's like, I value my middle name and my first name because those are my given names. Those were the names that, you know, were chosen for me by my parents. And, you know, I have a different appreciation for it now than I did then. And when it came down to my music, I've always felt that I have to hold myself to a certain standard and always be honest on tracks. Like, whenever I'm putting my vocals on a track, I have to be coming from the most honest perspective that's authentically me as possible. And I learned that from Bob. You know, there's never a track where he's trying to be something other than what he is. And that inspired me to get to know myself. So, you know, being myself through my name is kind of the next natural step. And it took a little bit for me to figure out that it was going to be JMars. At first, it might have been J Marchand, or just Marchand. And it kind of, we went through a couple of different iterations of how it would look too, for like a logo and stuff like that. And just JMars felt like it was natural and it fit me, and I was happy with it. You know? Yeah,
no, it's a really good name, JMars. Like, I thought about that too. If I were to have like a music name or some type of name like that, it would be J Castle, because my first name's Josh, last name's Castle, and I've grew up just going by Castle, just that's what everyone calls me.
That's all.
But I'd love like just using that the first initial. Like that's J
Yeah, man.
Dilla, like like all that stuff.
It's been done. It's to a certain extent, it's been done before, but I mean, it's me. So it's like, even
Yeah.
though the formula is the same, I'm still representing me the best way that I possibly can. So I can't really worry about that stuff too much.
JMars is like legitimately dope. Like it's such a sick name, especially like featuring on planetary destruction too. It's like just planets together. Like that's dope too. Yeah,
and that was, we actually used that project as like the launching point for the new name too. So people had trouble finding me. They're like, "Who the hell is JMars?" There's a lot of back and forth on whether or not I was Jid or not for a while for whatever reason. I don't think I sound like shit, but I'll take the comparison. I'll take shit. Why not? Jid is fire. But like we used that as a launching point to start something new. And after that came out, we dropped the project Early Retirement. And that was kind of Jumpman's early retirement. We were retiring that name and retiring that part of the journey. So it was something that was a great experience. And he had reached out with that opportunity to be on Planetary Destruction. And I loved it. I loved every second of it. It was great.
Yeah. I mean, that's an incredible record. And yeah, that's funny. I was definitely one of those people when I saw your name on there. I usually like to look up the features that are on certain songs that I like a lot, and I couldn't find you really anywhere at that time. And then time goes on, you're releasing or featuring again with Logic, other projects, and going to your YouTube page, you have like the lyrical breakdowns that you've had like recently, but then you also have the freestyles that you do. And those freestyles, I watch those a lot. They're so creatively done too. Like your videographer is really talented in just hooking you in to watch those videos. Like they're super good.
Thank you so much. That's our goal. Like we're trying to be as creative as possible and also balance that creativity with being able to keep it entertaining for people. And to know that did that for you, it gives me a moment to breathe some, because sometimes as artists we're not always sure how our art's going to be received, and that can help with anxiety. So definitely thank you for even taking the time to sit here and digest it, man. It means a lot.
Mm-hmm. And so that written interview I was reading recently, it said that starting your journey, like you didn't start with a lot of confidence. Was there like a specific moment, or like we'll touch on that, and then was there a specific moment when you're like, damn, like I want to just do this for real? Like you were talking about like how you left Apple and stuff earlier, but like do you remember like that you're just like, I'm gonna start writing like crazy, just making it pretty much?
So that I've had like 2 or 3 of those moments.
That's fair. Yeah.
One was when I had first got out to Florida. If you ever were to meet my parents or meet my pops, you would understand he's a very intense individual, and there's a reason behind it, because a certain amount of success requires that. And when I first was starting out, he wasn't sure how serious I would take it, so he just kind of flat out told me, he's like, "Dude, you're not going to be a rapper." and it was because I hadn't done what he had asked of me to prove that I was, serious about it. So it was like, the moment that happened, I'm one of those people, like, when you tell me no, or I'm not going to do something, it pisses me off some. It pisses me off a lot. And I want nothing more than to not rub it in your face in a negative way, but to prove to myself that there's nothing that you can tell me I can't do, or there's no reason for you to say no to me. Yeah. And I wanted very much in that moment to do that. So literally for the next 3 months, I just went in. And that, at that time, Damn had been released, 444 had been released, and I think following that, KOD had been released. So like my formative time of like challenging my pen and challenging myself to get better was, I had a backdrop of amazing music, and YSIB ended up coming out around that time. Like I had bodies of work that I was very much like comparing myself to. Layla's Wisdom by Rhapsody, like just so much good hip hop that really pushed me to do better. And like I wanted to shove it in everybody's face that I can do this. Like I can rap, like for real. And that was probably that was the most important one out of everything. But the third one most recently just happened, and it was another one of those moments where it's like you hear no and you're like, all right, cool. You saying no right now, but let's see if you're saying no 6 months from now. Let's see if you feel the same way or still feel unsure about shit 6 months from now. And that's kind of the fire that I have, and the intensity and passion that I have for making this music shit work, man. It's just you gotta find that constantly. I don't think it's something that ever you ever just like arrive at and you're stuck there. Like no, like life comes and things come that knock you off your center. You got to find your way back to it constantly. So I just that's been my process as of recently, just reminding myself like I got some shit to prove still. Just because I've had some kind of success doesn't mean that there's not room for a lot more.
Yeah. You definitely, I can tell just by watching your stuff and listening, you're very, very humble, but you're also like, you're all about balance and being humble, but you also come in like just really hard with like your lyrics, and you're just going out there. Like, I can't explain it that well. It's just, you put a lot of work into writing your lyrics, choosing like what beats to go on and how you just do everything. Like just your art of doing music is pretty incredible. And it's awesome just to, yeah, and it's really cool to see you, since you've only been doing it for like the last 3 years, and you're it's obvious that you're really talented. So it's gonna be cool just to see your journey just through music and just through your life too.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that for real. Like I'm just glad that it's built up enough gravity to be able to pull people into it, you know, and getting to meet people like you and Bob, and you know, just all the other amazing creatives that I've met in a bunch of different mediums too, not even in one particular area, just across art in general. It's been a truly like amazing experience being able to connect with people and their journeys too.
What's like a day in the life of you, like in JMars? Like, this could go either way. Like you don't have to answer this question, but I was just curious.
So as of right now, I don't know if my girl would like me saying this, but I mean we can say it. Okay, why not? Right now it's daddy life. Right now that's my whole world right now is getting ready to be a dad.
Awesome.
I have a little one on the way, baby Mars on the way, and I'm trying to get ready mentally and you know spiritually and now physically, because I done packed on some pounds and shit for him to get here and be there for him as much as I possibly can be. And that is like first thing, you know, every morning. And then secondly, going to do, you know, work with my family, with my pops and my moms, just all of us trying to build each other's businesses up and trying to find different ways that we can execute on a weekly basis. So, you know, that's kind of like my go into the office in the morning, the time frame up into the afternoon. Then afternoon, come in the studio, try and create, shoot videos if I have to, if I have my guys with me, plot out how we're trying to take over the world. Like I told you, trying to get the merch ball rolling. Just I've looked at recently. I've really looked at LaRussell's mold and seeing the amount of work that he puts in and the amount of success that he's had doing what he does. And I feel like I have a similar infrastructure to his, in that all I need is the execution. That's it. You know, the difference between the successful and the non-successful are those who execute. And he executes at a high level consistently and hasn't stopped. And so and he has literally everything in-house. He's found a way to roll all of the music industry into his house. And I feel like that is what I come from, you know? So it's like, that's the thing that I'm trying to work on right now is building that up and getting everything going towards that eventual success in that area. Because, you know, I'm personally not trying to rely on handouts or rely on waiting for people anymore. I think just like everybody else at times, I've done my fair share of that, and now it's just time, with all this momentum that we have built up, to really hone in and get get the train moving, because we have so much to look forward to if we do. I have complete faith in my team that if we really bear down over these next couple months, we're gonna look up and be in a lot different position than we have been in the past.
Definitely.
So that's my whole day. That's everything. Finding ways to build towards that.
Yeah, that's awesome. For Keep It Pushing with JRB, since you were like mainly on that album with other features too, did you guys work in person for that like project, or no?
It's been over. So we built that project over the course of the entire year, and everything has just been through the phone and finding ways to communicate and just talk about things that we like and the things that we don't, and just fortunately it's all been very easy. You know, JRB and his dad, they're great people to work with. They're professionals, like for real, very much so professionals, and they love music the same way that me and you do. They love music. They love, they come from it, you know, and it shows in how they operate, man. So the whole process has just been very naturally occurring over the course of this year. At first, JRB had just reached out with one track, and that was The Professional. And then like he got that back, and it was the final back for that. And maybe about a month or two later, he reached out and was like, "Yo, like I really, I want to have you on some more songs." So we sent 2 more, and that was Protect and what am I forgetting? It was Professional, Protect, Crash,
Study Hall.
Study Hall. There we go. For some reason, because Study Hall came out so early, I stopped associating it with it. So Study Hall was the other one. He sent me Study Hall and Protect, and then Crash was the last one right before the project got ready to release. So yeah, it was just all natural, and we just got to create. But for the Dawn, that's our next collab project. That's going to be just me and him.
Oh, I'm excited for that.
Yeah. We're gonna get in person. We're definitely gonna get in person. We're probably gonna end up getting in person probably before the end of this year, and going to that project out, man.
Yeah, that's dope. Kind of going off Study Hall. There's a music video for it, and I saw this. I'm gonna share my screen. I just want to see how you explain this image.
It's coming through, yes, sir.
I saw this. I watched this video probably like over 40 times already. Since the song is shorter, you can just replay it, and it doesn't get old at all. But I saw this, and I thought this was super interesting.
Yes.
It just like looks like what you've done, plans, and just inspiration. Like, how would you explain this photo?
This is our giant Easter egg, right? So like we put so much on it, so that way it would take, you know, if anybody was paying attention, it would take them a while to kind of figure it out. My girlfriend, she designed the whole thing. She drew up the whole thing because she's just great at stuff like that.
Damn. Yeah.
Literally in different sections, you'll see like, so on the Babel side, did you watch my No Pressure freestyle?
Yeah, I just watched that like a day or two ago.
So like on that one, I'm talking about, you know, in one of my lines I say, you know, like, hoping Bobby beams me up to Babel Station so I create shit. So here's me going ape shit. Babel is that station, and all the things that were on there, all the little branches off of it, were things that are getting me closer to Babel Station. Like the projects and the little question marks were things that we have either in the works or plan to do or already done and just haven't been released. So like you'll see different areas on there where it's like, what is this? It's because we have something already done and it just hasn't come out yet. And a lot of the stuff that's on there is kind of like that. And at that time I was doing some of my like freestyles over, you know, some popular producers on TikTok and on Instagram and stuff like that. So I had that 6-week program right there. The middle section was dedicated to me and the projects that I had. So like World Outside My Window, I Don't Trap, I Don't Mumble, Early Retirement. Those were all 3 of the first projects that we put out. And then the next project is to be determined, but we're working on it currently and just getting that ball rolling and stuff like that. So there's stuff all over it that definitely points to the things that are going on with JMars.
That's dope, yeah. I like how you got cookies on there too. You wear cookies a lot, and that's awesome.
Oh, yeah. you know, I always gotta rep Cookies, man. Like literally, always,
Yeah.
man. Like that's my brand. That's my people's. That's like I love Cookies, bro.
Yeah, that's so dope. Who's like an artist that you would want to collaborate with that is either dead or alive? You can do one like dead or one alive, or you can just choose one that.
All right, I'm gonna do one of each.
Yeah.
One alive that I want to really collab with. There's just so many. Let me see.
There are a lot.
Honestly, I think like the most realistic one that I really want to focus on attaining in the next, you know, within the next year is definitely La Russell. Like, I fuck with everything that dude's about. Like the way he treats his fans, the way he treats his team, the way he operates. Like, I'm heavily looking at him in the example that he's setting for artists who are trying to do. Yeah, just looking at everything that he's built. Like, and he has a kid too, so it's like just it lets me know that it's doable. You know, like that through the things that happen in life, through the things that we're all going through, like you can still build things, and it's just about doing the work. So that's definitely one person that I would want to collab with in the near future. And for the one person who's passed, I could collab with somebody who's passed. I have to say probably Mac Miller.
Wow, that's a really good choice.
Mac was hugely influential on me when I was like teenage years and shit like that. And it's crazy because he had just dropped Swimming right before he had passed, and that was another project during that time that was super like forming for me to, you know, kind of iron my sword against. And it was expertly crafted from top to bottom. So if I could have, you know, gotten to collab with him, that would probably be the highlight of the century type shit. He's amazing.
Yeah, those are definitely really good choices. For some reason, I wasn't even expecting this. I don't know I can't expect anything. There's so many people you could have chose, but those are very good choices. Well, thanks, man, for doing this. Like, it really means a lot that we're able to talk.
Of course, man. Like, anytime, and especially when I'm like getting ready to release some new shit, man. I would love to come back and do it again. Like I'm all for building like long-term business and creative partnerships, man. Like that's
me too.
That's my whole goal,
sure.
and I appreciate you seeing the value and even wanting to talk to me, man. Because you know, when I first moved out here, nobody knew who I was, and that's just the facts of it. So it's like you said, I'm trying to always remain humble in that fact that like we all have room to grow and we can all help each other grow, and it's best serving that if we create, you know, real long-term partnerships.
Definitely.
Man. So once again, it's JMars, everybody. Much love and balance, y'all. Peace.